Yo, it's your boy Rush. I'm in the building. Nah, I mean? And yo, we still in the Marvel verse. Yeah, I mean? I don't know if you guys noticed on the thumbnail, it says Fantastic Four Part 1. This joint is kind of long, so I gotta break them down in different increments. You heard? Alright, let's go. Alright, yo. Now, the first issue of Fantastic Four was in I say about 1961, and the basic origin of Reed Richard, aka Mr. Fantastic, was kind of you know, a good leader, and help cultivate his other peers to use their abilities and stuff like that. Now, the first spaceship Reed Richards I guess found from the government, right? It was like some type of project that had something work, like the government had worked out, creating this I guess a spacecraft, and it was like a kind of like a big deal because they put in so much money into it. Now, he did not I guess waste anything within this ship, so he decided to still I guess launch it because, oh, okay, yo, the government wanted to terminate this project for some weird reason, but because Reed Richard was so invested into this project, he was like, yo, nah, nigga, like we flying this shit, fuck that. So okay, Susan Storm, Johnny, Ben Grimm, yo, they all came through with Reed Richards. They had to come through with Reed Richards because the original people that was supposed to work with Reed Richard, yeah, I mean, they wasn't getting paid no more. So they was like, yo, fuck that. We ain't doing this shit. Know what I mean? So they end up, they get in the ship or whatever, they get launched, they flew out, yeah, I mean, they left Earth and they flew into a cosmic ray storm. Now, within this cosmic ray this cosmic ray storm, it I guess fast forwarding, it gives them each individual from the Fantastic Four their ability. So, but I mean, it didn't it wasn't something like that instant, you know what I mean? It happened after, the flight, I mean, took place, flying to space or whatever, right? So, the spaceship was kind of defective too. So Reed Richard decided to, fly back into Earth orbit. Now, these niggas is back in Earth, right? You know what I mean? And they, like when as they flew back into Earth or whatever, the space crashed into a middle of like a kind of like middle of nowhere type like spot or whatever. So they, you know what I mean? Like, okay, after the plane crash in this middle of nowhere, whatever, they all felt kind of different. You know what I mean, Ben Grimm body began to like transform into like a rock slash monster, like, you know what I mean, phenotype type thing going on. You know what I mean, like it was like kind of like unorthodox, like his phenotype. Like, it was like real different. You know what I mean, looks like a humanoid rock type thing. You know what I mean, V. Richard, his ability was to like stretch, like his I guess the like his skin composition end up like converting into like a rubber band type substance, so his body is able to like stretch into, you know what I mean, stretch into like a long form of anything. You know what I mean, um Susan Storm was ability is to be able to become invisible. You know what I mean? And Johnny Storm, he's considered the Human Torch. So like, yo, he, you know what I mean? He's a torch. His body's like is emerge of energy of fire. So he's able to like fly and shit and burn shit. You know what I mean? And we're all four of them together, it's considered to be the Fantastic Four. Now, this 1961 version of this comic is a canon story, like the original joint. I mean, obviously, they revamped it a few times and twisted the storyline, but they pretty much stay in the same, uh, you know, same same storyline type joint. I mean, they don't really switch it up as much. It's pretty much the same, but the joint I just gave you is the original canon. Now, Fantastic Four plays a huge role in the like the Civil War. You know what I mean? Which was written in 2009. Now, the comic presents um like the Civil War it presents like I guess Reed Richards' father. You know what I mean? It's like a father and son type joint. You know what I mean? And the comic speaks on like Nathaniel Richard, which is Reed Richards' father, which is, you know what I mean, Reed's father, whatever. Now Nathaniel in the comic, right? it kind of like insinuates like Nathaniel Richard leaves Reed Richards, like abandons Reed Richard, but that's not the case. But that's how the storyline starts off. So, people would assume that, hey, Nathaniel is a, horrible father, and, he left Reed Richards behind by himself. You know what I mean? But anyway, Nathaniel, okay, in the comics, it insinuates that Nathaniel abandons Reed Richard, like at the age of 3 or something like that. Before Reed Richard became this world a world renowned scientist, and becoming receiving his you know metahuman abilities. You know what I mean? Now the Fantastic Four, they call Crazy Smoke with this dude named I guess the Wizard. I mean, now the Wizard build like mad robots and shit like that. You know what I mean? Robots slash like kind of like a humanism type joint. You know what I mean? A robot slash humanoid type joint. But anyway, he builds like an army of like robots slash humanoids, whatever. And the Fantastic Four put a stop to it. They defeat all the robots, and Reed would snatch up the device that caused the robots to like self destruct and shit like that. I mean, like he would I guess reconfigure whatever program they programmed. Whoever created okay, the wizard that created this robot, the way he got it set up to move a certain way, but Reed Richard had his device where he's able to kind of like hinder the robots from doing what they need to do, what the wizard informed them all the robots to do, and Reed Richard has this device to hinder that. You know what I mean? Now this mechanism has a signal that I guess like it shoots out or whatever, right? And the wizard spot, like they found the wizard spot through this mechanism or whatever. You know what I mean? So, systematically, it controls all the other humanoid robots. Fast forward, Reed Richard takes that signal and figure out, well, he thought he figured out where this wizard was located. You know what I mean? So they go to the wizard spot, you know what I mean, try to figure out what's going on. But the wizard still was able to, keep creating these humanoid type robots in different layers. You know what I mean? Like he was always a step ahead of the Fantastic Four. Now, this particular comic is tied into the Civil War. You know what I mean? Now, okay, now the Civil War after, the aftermath with the metahumans beefing with the government, because y'all know about Civil War, how they put out kind of like similar to the Kingpin and the Thunder Crew, the Thunderbolt crew, which is the like he was able, like Kingpin was able to put out the law to make sure that mutants was licensed to use their metahuman abilities in the state of New York. I mean, but this is similar. This in Civil War is similar, but they also had to reveal their identity. That's why it was a Civil War, because now all mutants agreed to reveal their secret identity. So that's why there was a civil war popping off between like certain mutants against the government and shit like that. But anyway, this the whole situation with Wizard and all the robots he was building and causing mayhem or whatever. Like this stems from Civil War. Know what I mean, a piece of, because Civil War it's mad long. Like yo, if you got time to read those comics, because they got different issues in each of those comics, man. Yo, it's pretty long. You know what I mean, you got to be really into this joint. You know what I mean, to really know. You know what I mean, to be. You know what I mean, reading all them joints, whatever. So, all right, now that I gave you the a brief breakdown on the Wizard and all that. Steve Rogers, he gets into the mix of this in the Civil War comics or whatever, right? Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, right? Now, Steve, okay, in this issue, like yo, Steve Rogers, he got his own crew, you know what I mean? And they're hidden underground or whatever. Now, because I don't think there's like a registered superhero act to 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 really reinforce what's going on, right? Um, Captain America still had to do his own thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So which makes him and his crew like a bunch of vigilantes or whatever. Know what I mean? Now in the Baxter building, which is the Fantastic Four home, in their home they have like a multi dimensional bridge. You know what I mean? That Reed Richard like created or whatever. And you know, he's pacing back and forth thinking how to solve this particular problem, right? Like when you look in the scenes of this comic, like this mad like math equations, you know what I mean, and different variables that he's trying to figure out how to solve Earth's problem. Like he's like pacing back and forth how to fix, the world's problem. You know what I mean? So as he's doing this, he's trying to, figure out the solution to this problem, right? To this math equation or whatever. Um, like he has a look on his face that's just like kind of like sad because he's having a hard time figuring out this problem. Now this crazy issues of Secret Wars. So like for those of you that's not in the mix of these comics like that, it's okay. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to break it down as best as I can. I mean, now with these different issues of Secret Wars, there's also like the multiverse of Marvel is like collapsing and shit like that, and certain humans will use um devices that's similar to Reed Richards cosmic like like a singularity type bridge or whatever to cross different dimensions and shit like that. I mean, so Reed Richards multi-dimensional bridge, you know what I mean? Like they copy the style, whatever. You know what I mean? And other heads will like, will travel to different like dimensions and shit like that. Or so-called quote unquote like the multiverse. Now, in this particular comic, Reed Richards would bump into different versions of himself. I mean, like like for example, like the like okay, like there's okay when okay as okay when he traveled through his like multi-dimensional bridge, like he will bump in different versions of himself. Like one Reed Richard, like he won't have the elastic ability, like he'll have like the Human Torch, or there's another version of him like being the leader of the X-Men, or there's another version of him being like the actual Silver Surfer. I mean, I think this joint was dope. Like as he bump into different versions of himself as he goes through this this multi-dimensional bridge that he created. Now, Reed Richards goes to this spot, right, called the Council of Reed, right, which is like outside of the space and time. Now they created this location so that when they conjure up these blueprints to save the world or whatever, they're not messing up the timeline. Like they don't want to mess up the timeline or different dimensional pockets. Like they don't want to, mess up anything. So that's why they put it outside of space and time or whatever. Now, this joint's called the Council of Reed. Like this is many different Reed Richards. They all link up together, right, to solve this equation that Reed Richards before he walked through his multi-dimensional bridge or whatever. Like this is the problem that they all got together to try to figure out how to save the world. I mean, and a bunch of Reed Richards they link up together to try to figure out this problem, and that's why it's called the Council of Reed or whatever. I mean, so now like I give y'all the breakdown of that. You know, the Council of Reed, which is outside of space and time, right? There's they was informing each other like, yo, this mad work to do. We got to save the world. I mean, they always had this burden that they're carrying, feeling that they have to save the world or whatever. I mean, and okay, and this is why the comic starts off with Reed Richards' father, because it serves a great purpose on why they start off the comic insinuating that Nathaniel Richards abandoned his son, which is Reed Richards. You know what I mean? I'm good. Like as I go further into the story, I'll be able to explain it. But right now, I don't want to start it off prematurely. You know what I mean? So y'all can have a good understanding, what I'm talking about with this breakdown or whatever. All right. Now, in this spot, right, there's thousands of different versions of Reed Richards. There's one Reed Richard that's you know, he abandoned the X-Men or whatever. He does his own thing, and as he does his own thing, he also finds the Council of Reed, and he links up with different versions of himself to try to solve this great problem that Earth has. You know what I mean? Now the Council of Reed Richards, all these Reed Richards are from different Earths, different version of Earth. Some is from like Earth 1 or Earth 2028. You know what I mean? Like different, like they're all from different parts of the multiverse. You know what I mean? But they all come to this certain location to you know, um try to solve, the world's problem. You know what I mean? In this location. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, now the silver surfer version of Reed Richards, he's in the mix, he's politicking with everybody else, right? And there's also another version of Reed Richards, right? That's like a Doctor Strange type nigga too. You know what I'm saying? Yo, which is I thought is dope. Like if you read this joint, man, you be like, intrigued by it, because there's so many different versions of Reed Richards or whatever, right? Now, as they got deeper into the conversation, right? There's three different versions of Reed Richard wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. Know what I mean? Not only he's wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, but he also all three versions of him has all six Infinity Stones. Know what I mean? Which I thought that was pretty cool. And I guess the main one that was talking to Reed Richards, he's from Earth 2012. Now, the whole Reed Richards of Council goes to Earth 2012, right? And they catch smoke with Galactus. You know what I'm saying? Now, as they're fighting Galactus, they're getting in. They're trying to they're trying to body Galactus because for some reason, like in Earth 2012, like for some reason, like he I know it's not an unusual thing for Galactus to come through different planets and just uh feeding off the life forces of different planets. But for some reason in this particular comic, they kind of like magnify that, like that particular situation with Galactus feeding off Earth 2012. Like they made it like such a big like bigger than a bigger deal than what it's supposed to be, which I thought was pretty cool. It was interesting reading this comic. I mean, but anyway, this comic shows that Reed Richards goes to Earth 8091 too. You know what I mean? Now, and he links up with another version of himself that has the Infinity Gauntlet. Now he begins to explain why Reed Richards of um, Council exists. Now this this Reed Richards stops working like okay this Reed Richard, like his thing is to get rid of world hunger. Like he wants to get rid of world hunger, and he wants to be able to feed the entire world. And what he does, right? He goes to this different planet where it's just nothing but crops there. Nobody lives in his planet. It's just nothing but like food and crops. And he takes food from that dimension and disperse it so through all out the multiverse. This is what he attempts to do. I mean, this Reed Richard from Earth 80. Which Earth? Which Earth? Earth Earth 20. No, not 2012, but Earth 8091. Now, when he links up with Reed Richard, the electric, not electric, the elastic Reed Richard, the one that has the stretching abilities, he gives him the breakdown on what he wants to do. You know what I mean? He wants to stop the world hunger and all that. Now Reed Richards stops, world hunger. He tries to, he attempts and makes a great attempt at it. And finding where no one like lives in this certain location, right? Like I said before, he grows the food and disperses it in different multiverses or whatever. You know what I mean? And feeds the hungry. Now, as they cross over within like okay, this comic also breaks down on how they bump into a character named Darkseid from DC. This is crazy because my next joint I'm gonna be giving you the breakdown of Darkseid too, my nigga. Know what I mean? But anyway, they bump into Darkseid, right? Now through this Marvel verse, right? As they, cross into DC universe or whatever, they bump into, Darkseid or whatever with the Infinity Gauntlet. You know what I mean? But they couldn't use it. Okay, as they cross over to DC spot or whatever, they couldn't use the Infinity Gauntlet. Like this is a certain rule as you're reading within the comic. Like whatever. Like say for instance, right? There's an Infinity Gauntlet with all 6 stones and Earth, in Earth 2012, right? And like the individual from 2012 takes that Infinity Gauntlet and goes to Earth 8091. That Infinity Gauntlet is not going to work. You know what I mean? But later down the story, I'm going to explain to you on how they find a way to still use the Infinity Gauntlet from different multiverses, which is, I don't know. I hope this is not confusing. I mean, I hope I'm explaining this good. But anyway, and now as this happens, right? This joint was written by Gene Hitchman. Now, Reed Richards' council responsibility is to keep Marvel multiverse safe and by any means necessary. So they go around into different dimensions to body many versions of Victor Von Doom. Okay. Now there's another Reed Richards, not the elastic joint. But I forgot the other one. I think the other one was like what? Hold on. It's not important. But this different version of Reed Richard, his goal was to body Victor Von Doom. Yeah. I mean, different version of Victor Von Doom. But it's crazy, yo. I'm gonna kind of spoil the story as you read towards the end of the story, right? This part 1 that I'm breaking down to you, Victor Von Doom plays a big role of saving humanity, which I think this is crazy. But anyway, they go around different dimensions. They kidnap Victor Von Doom, and they salute to you, Jedi Mike.
What's going on? You see me?
Yeah, I can see you, man.
What's going on, man?
Yo, chilling, man. I'm giving a breakdown of Fantastic Four, but
I didn't wasn't able to stay long though. I just want to come to support you. I know you were trying to reach out to me and everything, but just
word up. Yeah. Word up. You know anything about the Fantastic Four.
Of course.
And the Reed Council, the Council of Reed Richards.
It's a Council of Reed. So if anybody, there's a whole complex like storyline at that point. If any of you guys, I know some of you guys have, you heard of a show called Rick and Morty. That basically where Rick and Morty based off their Council of Ricks. They based it off of Fantastic Four, off Council of Reeds. So when you see the multiple versions of Reed Richards in different universes, that's where they base it off of, because Reed Richards, he basically the smartest man alive in the Marvel universe, but that was used as a way as a more of a galactic type of storyline of different versions from different universes. But again, utilizing the storyline of Doctor Doom trying to gain control and everything, and also in Galactus involved, that was a whole bunch of things that I felt like Marvel. And to me, I thought that was a really interesting storyline they did, because you really had never have like seen that before. The only closest thing you got to was mainly with Flash in DC Comics, when he had different versions of himself on Earth 1, Earth 2. But what Marvel, what they did, in terms of displaying the multiverse, the Council of Reeds was a very central figure in that. But
yeah. I thought it was pretty interesting. Like this is so long that I got different parts of it. You know what I mean? So I'm like giving a brief description of this comic, and the real moral of the story is like on the second subject matter within the title, it's like nuclear family. I mean, and within like like with Fantastic Four, you can see like they're a strong nuclear family. From
all the way from the from the 60s when they were originally when they introduced, they were titled Marvel's First Family. That you had an entire thing of like you had Reed Richards and Sue Storm who were married, Sue Storm and Johnny Storm, brother and sister, and then you had Reed Richards' best friend, basically his brother, which was Ben Grimm. But they were utilized as Marvel First Family. And then later on in the comics, as they grew, all of a sudden Reed Richards and Sue Storm, they also had children, Franklin Richards, and which by the way is OP as fuck.
Right. And like
yeah.
Cause like towards the end of this joint, I give you the breakdown of that too. You know what I mean? Of Reed Richards' son. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why I got different parts of it. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to give them like the basic of it so they could have an understand. So when I do give them the real story, like on part 2, they gonna understand like what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, man, so like there's different, like, okay, the Reed Richards, right? He goes out and kidnaps different version of Victor Von Doom because he believes Victor Von Doom is evil, and he puts him in a deep coma sleep. He pretty much kills them because they're all in like in a vegetative state. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, which I thought was pretty interesting. Like, to me, it was kind of cold because I never seen a version of Reed Richards make a move like that. And I mean, he's usually like
like he's more level-headed, but you have to understand, like, it's like the same thing you guys know about Flash. It's like if you know Flash and Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash, that's his like ultimate rival. But yeah, when you see different versions of that character, you think, oh, this person's meant to, it's the same person in a different universe, and not necessarily true. But that vendetta or that hatred he has for the original, right? He thinks, oh, that all of them are the same. And that's the thing, like Reed Richards, are different versions of him in the comics, even in the main 616 timeline. When him having the beard or anything like that, like he's very smart, but sometimes he can be like one of the dumbest, like smartest people you met, meaning because of like he trusts his intellect, but he's not a lot of times he's not really self-aware. Like his intellect can also be his downfall because he knows a lot. He has a lot of information to a point that almost he's kind of discarded from his own humanity, and that's a dynamic that they add into that family interpersonal relationship, conflict between Sue Storm even with his own children, which I thought that was very interesting. That that Marvel hasn't like done, obviously because of rights issues, but in which now because everything is under the same umbrella, that's soon going to change. You'll see in Marvel Comics now, like when they got the movies and everything, you see more development of storylines with Fantastic Four because now they can utilize them more. But yeah.
Right. That was real good breakdown how you use Dr. Zoom for an example of that, which I thought was pretty good. Now, okay, now okay, Reed Richards' father, Nathaniel Richard, like he okay, like they okay, now in this part of the comic, it shows how he reminiscing about his pops, on how his pops was explaining to him, because he okay, Reed Richard as a shorty, he would get bullied. The reason why he would get bullied is because of his intellect, and his father explained to him why kids will pick on him because of his intellect, and that the reason why the kids will pick on him is because that he has a great purpose in life, and with his intellect he's going to be able to solve everybody's problem within Earth. Know what I mean? And this is why this part of the comic is important, because it explains to you why um uh Reed Richards' father kind of like disappears and leaves, because he had to go handle something important to save, you know what I mean, to save the world. I mean, obviously, I haven't gotten to that point of that yet, but I'll get to that and explain to you why that's important with him. Reminiscing about his pops and the message that his father left him. Know what I mean? And that just shows you how just having the presence of somebody's father involved in someone's life has a great impact. Know what I mean? Like, you know, just because the father is not around, like as much as the mother, like to me the father's role is to be a great influence, and give him words that's going to be give him words of encouragement that's going to be real impactful within that individual's life, he or she's father's life. You know what I mean? But anyway, okay, the reason why he's going through this through uh this situation with being bullied at school is because you know what I mean, he's a smart kid. You know what I mean? And the kids found him to be weird, so they just picked on him or whatever. Now after this reminiscence, right, Reed Richard, like he's back into the Reed Richards Council, and they all asking him to, like, giving him a proposal to actually join the team. And Reed Richards, he had a bit of conflict of joining the team, because he'll be abandoned, like how the comic insinuates that Nathaniel abandoned his son. He didn't want to I guess abandon like his family. You know what I mean? Like Susan Storm and Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm. You know what I mean? And
Sorry,
yo, what are your thoughts on that, Jedi?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't want to make this. I just saw someone comment asked if I had a channel. I do. But I'm a movie critic. I'm part of a critic association, so I do review movies, but also do other content as well. Thank you, sweet lady. Appreciate that. But and thank you again, man, for having me on your channel. I know you try to reach out to me and everything, but I appreciate you wanted to have a conversation with me and everything. Appreciate it. But the with the Fantastic Four, one thing you talk about, the whole thing with nuclear family. You're talking about with this is that a lot of this is that you don't really see that promoted much a lot in comics like now, because again, just the things out now, things kind of have a gray area, not really been promoted heavily like it was back in the 60s, because it was a different time, right? But
Right.
right, but the thing about what they did is that what they were trying to do, at least with other things, because like if you guys, I know you guys seen The Incredibles um from Disney Pixar, right? That's basically what a little bit of what the Fantastic Four is. So like we see Franklin Richards, it's basically off of Jack Jack, and Jack Jack has a whole bunch of powers and everything. But what the dynamic is that you see, at least what the top of the position that Reed Richards hold in the Marvel universe, is that they kind of regard it like he's part of Illuminati, which is like a kind of secret group that if you saw the recent film Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, that he was in there. But that he is in there in Marvel Comics, but he was one of the founding members of that, because they thought, okay, all these issues came with the whole thing with the Infinity Gauntlet storyline that you got with Thanos and stuff. Each of the members of the Illuminati, they hold an Infinity Stone.
Right.
And one thing that Rush, he talked about before, if you guys heard, he said that as much as all the different multiverses, like saying, hey, let's just go get another Infinity Gauntlet and bring it, you can't use a Infinity Stone or a Gauntlet from a different universe and have it work. Meaning that if I go to a different universe and I used to take Infinity Gauntlet, I bring it here, it will not work. I have to use the ones from this universe. So that was
Right,
the thing.
right.
Yeah, so that was the thing that a lot, the logic of everything that people had to understand. Things that got very, very convoluted.
Now, but now they bypass that though because different version of Reed Richard, his body is a portal. So what they
Yes,
will do
right.
is he'll tap into their dimension and have one of the Reed Richards stick their arm within that dimension, and it will be able to work on whether on the whatever gateway that Reed Richard opens up to, like whether if it's like Earth 2021 and he's from Earth 8091, like by having his fist a part of, by putting his fist through Reed Richard and having his other hand that has the Infinity Gauntlet in Earth 2021, he's able to use the Infinity Gauntlet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
how they end up defeating Galactus, because they did this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's also then you also understand when I mentioned about Franklin Richards. Franklin Richards,
Uh-huh.
if Franklin Richards, and this is what people need to understand, it's like how powerful he is that he basically got the power of Galactus on by his fingertips, like he can control him. So it's like there's a recent
Right.
story.
Okay. Now. Okay. Like. Okay. Franklin Richard is. See, I'm about to spoil the
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Franklin Richard is Reed Richards' son. His part. Like. Okay. Galactus got smoke with Reed Richards' son. Well, he not. He don't have smoke with him,
He can't.
but
He
he
can't do shit.
fears him
He can't do
because
shit.
yeah, he can't do shit against him. You know what I mean? Because Galactus came through, right?
Right.
And he saw an older version of himself like dead. So he was so shook that he went to go holler at Reed Richard, and he was like, "Yo, explain, nigga." Like, so as he get to explain it to him, like, "Yo, it's my son." He like the thing. Okay, before we get into this, right? Franklin Richards' power is to uh manipulate reality. Like whatever he could think within his mind, it'll conjure up within our reality. You know what I'm saying? Almost like a god type power. You know what I mean? And Galactus, you know what I mean? He wanted to he wanted to figure out what was going on with Franklin, because he knew like that's the only kid that could actually kill him. But as you go further into the comics, like things got so bad that he created like this kid created a different universe, like a pocket universe to live
Pocket
into,
universe.
because
Right.
the shit he was doing in reality, he was kind of like fucking up everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why towards the first comic when he came through, when he came through the Fantastic Four, Leia, whatever. Like Reed Richard, Ben Franklin, Susan Storm, they had no idea who this nigga was. And when he came through, he came through to speak to Reed Richards' daughter, Valeria, right?
Yeah.
And he gave Valeria a message. And like when you read this part of the comic, like you're figuring out like, oh, that's Franklin Richard from the future speaking to his little sister, right? And what he told his little sister, like, yo, we gotta fuck with Von Doom, because Von Doom is the secret to saving humanity. You know what I mean? And I thought that was like crazy, because towards the beginning of the comic, the different version of Reed Richard, he would kidnap different version of Von Doom because he believed that Von Doom was an evil dude or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
I thought that was pretty interesting. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Yeah. I have to go because I have to do a show here at the 9 though. But yeah, man, we need to link up, dude. I like your knowledge and everything, man. This is very conversation, man. But I continue to support you, man, and thank you again for having me.
Yeah, no doubt, Jedi, man. Thanks for coming through, man.
No problem, man. But yeah, we'll you got my information, and everything. Yeah, we'll link up, dude. But yeah, but make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, man, and everything. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Like button, it's free. Show some support. All right, I'll see y'all.
All right, yo.
All
Peace.
right. Peace, man.
All right. Yo, that was that was Jedi Mike. You know what I mean? He's a pretty cool dude. He got a dope YouTube channel, dope topics. Yeah, I mean, y'all should subscribe to his joint too. You heard? But now let me get back to my story or whatever with the Reed Richards Council or whatever. Now, as they're trying to solve this problem or whatever, right? Like they bump into the Celestials, right? The Celestials they come through at this location, right? And the council, well, the Celestials they come through the location of the Reed Richards, the Council of Reed Richards location. Now, okay, the main Reed Richard passes the Infinity Gauntlet, not you know what I mean, not to work in that certain location, whatever, and certain time and space, whatever. So they were fighting through. Okay, they were fighting against the Celestials. Now, okay, now there was many different versions of Reed Richards fighting the Celestials. Like I say a couple thousand. Like they're fighting these Celestials or whatever. Now the wars between the Reed Richards and the Celestials was pretty serious. Like they battling out. I mean, they you know what I mean, fighting each other, opening different portals, using infinity gauntlets and banging on these niggas. Like they getting it in or whatever, right? So now, as I explained earlier, like the rules with the Infinity Gauntlet from different multiverses, they only work within that dimension of a multiverse. Like Earth 2021 Infinity Gauntlet, it's not going to work in 8091 Earth. You know what I mean? But they figure out a way to bypass that, and they link up with Reed Richard, a different version of Reed Richard, and his body is like a physical portal, and they use him to wield the Infinity Gauntlet in certain multiverses, and and this particular multiverse, these Reed Richards are fighting the Celestials, and it was a pretty good fight. You know what I mean? Now, as they hurt these Celestials or whatever, like they fighting the Celestial because of this evolved uh like I guess godlike beings, which is the Celestials or whatever. Like it was pretty tough, but they defeat the Celestials and they end up bodying Galactus. Now, the Reed Richards from Earth 626, he possesses the elastic stretch abilities, right? And he escapes and returns to his original Earth. Now, within this multiverse, Reed Richards and Susan Summers have two kids, which is his name is it's a boy and a girl, Franklin Richard and Valoria Richards. Valoria Powers is it's a genius level of intelligence, superhuman strength, invisibility, time travel. She's able to generate force fields around her body, um, and she also have like telepathy. Franklin Richard powers are like it's like a omega level. Richard's powers can manipulate reality, create avatars of himself, and Franklin Richard is also considered to be the most powerful mutant within the Marvel universe. Now, this unknown man that he pops up through a portal, enters the Baxter's building, right, which belongs to the Fantastic Four. The unknown uh the unknown individual that comes through and snatches up Franklin Richard as a child. He the child version of Reed Richard is floating. As this unknown man has Reed Richard, Franklin Richard floating, which is Reed Richard's son. Like I guess he's like what this guy's doing is activating Franklin Richards' powers. Yeah, what he's doing because at that age, I think he was like what 4 or 5. Like his abilities was not activated yet, but by by this unknown man activating Franklin Rich's powers, it kind of like it changes everything. Like I mean, it's crazy for him to have his abilities at that age. You know what I mean, like to be able to manipulate reality. But as he does this, right, he like as he's activating Franklin Rich's powers or whatever, he has this force field around his body where Franklin Richard, the Thing, Johnny the Human Torch, and Susan Summers, they can't penetrate this force field as he's activating Franklin Richard's powers. As he get done activating Franklin Richard's powers, he then goes to Valoria's room and he begins to give her the message, um which is pretty interesting. Um and uh he informs Valeria that Victor Von Doom plays a big role of saving humanity, and this unknown dude that came through the Baxter building and activated Franklin Richard's powers and gave the information to Valoria Richard is Franklin Richards Franklin Richards sister. I mean, like that's his sister. Pretty much, pretty much. Franklin Richard is the unknown man that came through that did everything, and that's the first part of the Fantastic Four breakdown that I'm going to give y'all. You know what I mean? Now, if y'all want to come up and talk about the Fantastic Four, we can do that, and we can talk about how important the nuclear family is. Now, to me, the importance of a nuclear family plays an important role within individual's personality. You know what I mean? Like children are more close to the parents. That stems from a nuclear family, um, which helps better the development of that child's personality. So the nuclear family produces a better version of society because of this influence on the masses, on the mass media. Mass mass media have convinced people to divest of having a nuclear family. I mean, they even encourage like single parenthood. Like it's okay to be a single mother and you know and you know and and raise children raise children by themselves, which I totally disagree. You know, and like having a nuclear family is real important, man. It makes a difference. And if you want to come up and talk to me about this, man, let's do this, man. Let's politic about the effects, the positive effects of nuclear family and society on how it produces a great society. Talk to me. It's your boy Russ in the building. Know what I mean? Anyway, yeah, man, pretty much, yeah, man. This is about the nuclear family, and I guess I'm gonna cut this live short. You know what I mean? And catch y'all next week. Yeah, it's your boy Russ. I'm out. One.